this is one of those shows that is in the future, Chris.
Yeah.
In the future, yes. Pre-recorded. I mean, it's at the time we're recording it, I think you could watch it live, but I mean, the majority of 99% of our listeners listen on the podcast.
Yep.
So, I had a surgery last week, and hopefully I'm doing well.
It's always weird to...
I'm hoping. I mean, I don't know. We may never know. But yeah, so no, just like when I had my surgery back in July, we're doing some pre-recorded shows to keep the content coming for you guys to support us, and for you guys that have been there for us. We want to make sure that we're giving you. We know that the show for a chunk of people is, it's an important part of their week. They listen to it on the way to work. They listen to it at the gym, whatever they do. And if it's not there for you, it makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
So. This week, though, we're just kind of catching up on different things that we've watched, and just kind of a general discussion here about different things. I know we're knee deep in the that came from Tubi.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to say which film it was. You would have already heard a review about it anyway. But definitely, I hit a wall with one I watched yesterday. So
yeah, I got your text. And I read it, and I'm like, all right, okay, shit.
Yep. It goes by quick. Don't worry.
That's good.
But anyway, so outside the cinema, 16 years strong, here we are still making the content. How are you feeling? I know this is, I meant to ask you when we were getting warmed up there. But this is now also like a month and a half after you were actually not feeling well. So how are you feeling at this moment on September... what's today's
17th,
17th, something like that. How you feeling?
Awful. This is bad. The pain is now changed. It's not so much that kick in the balls that never goes away. It's moved to my inner thigh, like front to inner thigh on my left leg, and it feels like somebody's shredding pork inside my body, and my muscles are the pork when I move. When I don't move, it's just uncomfortable.
Okay, and you still think it's a kidney stone?
It's gotta be. It's gotta be, because the way the pain is moving, it definitely feels like it's, I mean, I've had one, so the pain is comparable, comes in waves. It can be very sharp or very dull.
Kidney stone. I had one. We talked about it when we were recording the other day. I had one, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I'm getting little bits of nausea, so that's how I know it's coming to the end.
Yeah, mine was, I would get these like waves of pain in my stomach that would hurt so bad that I threw up.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. I just got a little bit, like a minute or two ago, of like, if I think about that, it's going to get bad.
Yeah,
No, I didn't. So I
recommend not thinking.
I have to have my foot up on something so that all the weight's taken off of my thigh. I can't have it being pulled. But also, I still have that inside the body, the deep feeling of the residual from getting a nut shot. That I don't know how to describe the pain, but it's like if you touch a really bad bruise, but it's testicular. You know,
I get exactly what you're talking about.
So that's how I know it's a kidney stone, because of where the deep pain is radiating from. So hooray! The worst part of this is, I set up maintenance for our 4D theater to happen tonight and tomorrow night, and I'm not going to be able to go.
Oh man.
I don't know if when I'm done the show, if I'm just going to try to lean back in the chair and sit here, or if I am going to go into the other room and try to raise my legs up and just try not to hurt. I don't know. Whatever hurts less.
I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Well, could be worse. It could have had more.
It could always be worse. It could always be worse. Yeah. So this week we're really just going to kind of run through some stuff. We do have a segment from Scott later in the show. But we're just gonna kind of run through like stuff we've watched recently or stuff we're excited about. And I know you said you've been catching up on some stuff,
I've
right?
been trying, yeah.
All right, well, let's throw something out there. What do we got? It's okay.
Oh, me first? I wasn't ready for this. I saw Alien Romulus.
All right, I have not watched it yet.
I liked all of it except for one line that was delivered toward the end of the film. It's a line that's like, I got a bad feeling about this, where any character in Star Wars can say that. But the line that was delivered is way too specific to one character. And I did not like that. Instead of saying what this character said, I think what they should have said was, "You are one ugly motherfucker." And confuse people and throw in the line from Predator. Right? Because there's a little tiny bit of non-canonical crossover with them, so that might be okay. But it was like a greatest hits of the series. Like, you could sit there and be like, "Oh, that's from part 4. That's from part 3. I remember that from over there." And these guys, and it's good. It's the better Alien film. It's probably is the best Alien film since '86.
Okay. What was the last one prior to this?
Are we considering the Prometheus ones?
What was the second Prometheus one? Because there was
Covenant.
Prometheus and then Covenant. I didn't see that either. I saw Prometheus.
That was just a bunch of people land on the wrong planet and there's spores. And it really took the whole xenomorph idea and, I don't know, just pretended it didn't read any of the lore, I guess. It was... If it would... No. And I defended Prometheus for a long time because I thought, okay, this isn't a bad idea. Let's see where they go with this. And where they went with it after was just bad. Alien is not about the fucking androids. The androids are characters in the story. They are not the catalyst for everything going on. And I was willing to give Ridley Scott the benefit of the doubt for the first one and be like, okay, well, maybe he does have some kind of overarching plan for the whole thing. And he might have, but what we got was a scene of two androids flirting with each other, playing the flute. What the fuck? Like, it's...
Oh, no, I did watch Alien Covenant at some point.
Did you?
Yeah,
I love how you
it's on my
couldn't
list
remember
here.
it.
It's on my watch list, but I don't recall.
Yeah, Kenny Powers was in it.
Really crud up.
The biggest change that they made to the alien life cycle was that the thing burst out of the woman's back instead of her chest.
So where did Covenant fall in the timeline?
Yeah, right after Prometheus.
Right after Prometheus. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, before Alien.
But Prometheus, remember, wasn't it originally not even like they tried to like make it like it wasn't attached?
I don't really know what they were thinking with it. I think the early on stuff was like, oh, this is in the alien world, but it's not directly related. But then in the trailer, you have a fucking relief carved into the wall with an alien on it, with the xenomorph like fully evolved. So I don't know what the fuck David was doing with all his goddamn embryos, because none of that mattered at any point.
Right.
Ridley Scott loves the idea of the chariot of the gods, and that's what he was initially going to do, was that Jesus was an engineer and shit. But like, his engineers don't even match the ones from the first fucking movie that he directed. They're smaller. The outfit, which Dallas said was fossilized, which would be his skin, was a fucking spacesuit. And like, how do you forget? How do you not know? Clearly it wasn't Ridley Scott that alone made that movie well, because we see what he did when it was just him.
Right.
Some people have really good ideas and they can continue their things years and years and years later. George Miller's a great example of that.
Yeah. One of the few really good examples, actually.
But I don't think Ridley Scott really understood that what he was making was basically a slasher haunted house movie.
Yeah. I'm watching this trailer. I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, I don't remember it either. I remember things that happened, but I don't remember scenes. I remember like this event, and it's like a text entry in my head.
I feel like the Alien series in general is just such a like miss after miss.
Fox
after
never
miss.
gave it the attention it deserved. After Alien 3, after that whole fuck up there, they never really went back and gave it the respect it deserved as an action horror franchise.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man.
But I did enjoy it. This new one, it's a few years before Aliens, so we're looking right in between. There's a lot of nice connections between the two, and the storyline doesn't revolve around the alien. It just so happens that they end up in its path, which I kind of like because they weren't like poking at the eggs or anything. So that's all right. It's fine.
I'll watch it.
fine.
I mean, I'll watch it. I just I don't know. Maybe I've been burned too many times.
Yeah, Alien is definitely kind of shit on us here and there.
And I feel like I'm kind of like that with the Star Wars stuff now too, where I'm just getting pelted with so much Star Wars stuff that I just don't care. And the last couple of things I watched, I wasn't really.
Yeah. I watched that animated Tales of the Empire finally. What'd that come out, a year ago?
Oh, I don't even know.
It's not bad. It tells the story of one of the bad guys from the Ahsoka series and how she got to where she was from Dathomir, which was in the Clone Wars. So that was kind of nice. And yeah. Then there's another story about one of the fallen Jedi that turns into an Inquisitor. And that was kind of nice. And then she's like, oh shit, the Empire's fucked. And then she can't get out. So careful what you wish for.
So we've had so many series now. What's the next like tent pole? Like, is there going to be another film trilogy?
The next film that they've officially for real announced is The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I imagine is the culmination of the whole series.
Okay.
But it really does feel like the way they're writing this stuff that all of the stories will connect at one point. Because we had Ahsoka in her series, and Mandalorian, we had Mandalorian in Fett, Bo-Katan was there. Everybody's kind of it's like the how Marvel used to do it, like, oh, go see issue 87 for what's happening with Vision. And if it all comes together and it plays out, and it's like a big satisfying ending, which I think they're gonna do with Thrawn, that might be all right. The last series we watched was Ahsoka. I didn't
watch that. I didn't watch the Boba Fett series.
That one, there's a couple episodes that are fun to watch, but most of it is honestly kind of skippable. Okay. And I've been waiting my whole life for a show about him, and then they just fucked it up. And
when does it take place?
It takes place after Jedi. So, it's pretty much in the same time frame as Mandalorian. It's like 5 years after Jedi.
Okay.
Bib Fortuna was in charge. He was running the show in Jabba's palace. Fett comes in, shoots him, and takes over. And then he becomes like a good guy. Like he wants to just be a legitimate businessman, and he's the dopiest motherfucker running around. He doesn't know shit about anything. And Matt Berry doing the voice of the torture droid doesn't help the show. It does a little, but not enough. And the best parts of the show are when Mando shows up.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch
it. I feel like they really neutered him.
That's like 3 years old now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was not happy with the whole thing. Rodriguez is a fine filmmaker, but I feel like everything he puts on screen kind of looks cheap. Like,
okay.
Like it doesn't have the polish that like even the first couple seasons of Mandalorian has. There's something missing. There's something that looks raw about it. Like early Tim Burton stuff. Like right. Actually, well, a lot like that scene in Hellraiser 2 where we're looking at Heather's circus nightmare. And you can tell it's just sheets of plywood painted with clown faces, and it looks awful.
Yeah. I think, though, it's funny because if you would go back and tell me and you when we worked at Blockbuster in the 90s that in the future, Disney was going to own Star Wars and we were going to get a new trilogy, some standalone flicks, and a whole bunch of like TV shows, like we'd be like, yes, the future is amazing.
And we were like that.
Well, no, like go back to
Until
think
we
when we
watched.
saw the Force Awakens trailer for the first time.
Yeah.
It felt special and it felt epic and it felt big. And each piece of the property that they've released since then, a little bit of the gleam has come off of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same way with Marvel, whereas like we were waiting for, the next big Marvel movie. But like more, I've come to realize that more of what you love really actually just takes away from your enjoyment of it.
It can,
For me,
Yeah.
this is for me personally. I shouldn't say across the board, but like I remember that Force Awakens trailer. Hell, I'll go back and I remember when they released the Episode 1 trailer, and like it felt like this really special thing. And you would look at it, and it looked expensive, and it looked special, and like the first scene would start, and everything had a feel, and like I just feel with every piece that's come since, and for Marvel and for Star Wars specifically, it just feels a little less special, to the point now where I don't even watch the stuff when it comes out because I don't care, because I've just been so inundated with things.
Yeah.
And like I didn't watch Ahsoka. I didn't watch Andor. I didn't watch I never even finished the Solo movie.
There were parts of that I liked, and I thought the kid did a pretty good job of pulling off a Han Solo look.
I mean, and Donald Glover, his version of Lando, like, was great.
Oh, perfect. And I'm still hearing rumors that there's a show or a movie that Glover's working on to do that. And I'm like,
with him, who knows, man? He just canceled the remainder of his Childish Gambino tour.
Really?
For mental health reasons. Yeah. Mel went 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, when he played in Boston. And she said it was amazing. And the Childish Gambino stuff that he does is incredible. But like, the next night, the next show was canceled, I think, because it was supposed to be in Mohegan Sun, but the arena, they couldn't set the show up in the arena with forever reasons. And then it was a couple shows, and then he just canceled the rest of the tour. Which is interesting for a number of reasons, because how many times has he said that he was done with the Childish Gambino?
oh, that I don't know, but I'm assuming
Yeah, he's come out
bunch.
a couple times and been like done with it, and he leaves it and then comes back to it. And
Okay.
so Donald Glover in general, because he was in that Mr. and Mrs. Smith series, which I didn't watch. I just know that it exists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't watch that either.
Right?
Nothing against anybody in it, but like, I get it. I've seen it. Is it going to do something new or not? I don't know, but I don't want to waste time on bad stuff anymore,
And the thing is
not that he'd be bad.
No, and I'm sure he was great, and he's great in everything he's in. But it's just like, we're just so inundated with so many new things. And like, I think back, and I say recently, probably like within the last couple months, went back and listened to one of our old episodes. I don't even remember what the hell movie it was. I wanted to go back and see what we thought of it, knowing how I feel about it now. It was some horror movie that was like a pumped up horror movie at the time. I don't remember. But like, listen, and this was probably an episode from 11, 12 years ago. And listening to it and being like, wow, like we weren't overwhelmed with things back then. We were able to just, take what we wanted to see, and like there was like whatever big movie opened over the weekend, and then whatever new thing was out on DVD or Blu-ray that week, and like we were able to ingest like everything at that time. Whereas now, like you can't. And like,
well, also
there's more stuff made, but like it's just
a lot of stuff in our lives has changed since then too.
For sure. But like I remember like there was a point where I was like, I went to Newbury Comics that day or whatever and bought whatever new DVD releases.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I'm like, I used to fucking do that. Like I used to go and buy whatever the new movies were that week. And I'm like, now I can't even be bothered to watch the trailer on Netflix.
I know. The last thing I bought on disc was the Mega Halloween special from the WNUF guy.
Yep.
Ordered it from his site because that's the only way you can get it. And I've watched it like 7 or 8 times. It's a lot of fun. So
I'm holding on to the copy you sent me to watch right around Halloween.
yeah, it's fun. It's got one of Ripley's favorite new characters in it that she's ever seen, and he's like the 3rd or 4th commercial. His name is Dr. Pizza, and she just like, because he comes on the screen, he's like, "Hey, I'm Dr. Pizza," and it's definitely this New Jersey guy, and it's a lot of fun. He's just. And stickers for the kids, all that stuff, like a Carvel ice cream thing.
Yep.
So Ripley's playing Cult of the Lamb, and you can name your followers. And she came downstairs the other day and said, "Dad, Dr. Pizza died." I'm like, "The real guy?" She's like, "No, the one in my game." I'm like, "I don't give a shit." But she names them after all these people that she likes. So she said Danny DeVito has died, Dr. Pizza, like all this. It's just hilarious. She's a weird kid in a good way.
I hear you.
But yeah, I recommend that if anybody's listening.
So like the whole thing is just like the world is just so different now to the point where like I haven't even tried to find the next Neil Breen flick. Like I think it's Cade the Torture Crossing.
That's right. Yeah.
But like, I don't even know if he's released it or not. Like,
I actually have been watching other people do reviews of his stuff, and I love it. I really, this shit's so crazy. I called both of them in separately, both kids, and I'm like, "Look at this guy. Look at this guy in his car with his fork," and they're like, "Yeah, he loves tuna fish." Yes, he does.
Okay, so Cade the Torture Crossing is listed as 2023.
Okay.
First of all, the cover art, Cade is up top. The Torture Crossing underneath it, all lowercase. So I'm assuming, is Cade the title and Torture Crossing the like the tagline?
Oh, maybe.
Or is it part of the title because none of it's capitalized? So
that's strange.
The trailer listed here is 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Wow. What is it? An Italian trailer in German?
We will never let them down.
He's on an AI-generated staircase.
Of course.
This youth trafficking is disgusting. We had 2 more last night.
He's got to be a QAnon guy, right?
I don't know. I don't know if he's anything, honestly. I can't tell. Let me see what I can find.
Wow. Is this out there? Can we watch this?
I'm sure we can. We just have to find it.
Like,
I need to collect his movies.
This trailer, dude. Like, I mean, we talk about the amount of like green screens and like and like
best we can.
Stock footage that he uses in his films, but this entire trailer, every scene has been green screened.
Yeah, there's one, and I it might be Fateful Findings. I can't remember because all of his are kind of the same in a way.
Fateful Findings is old now.
Yeah, that 11 years from what I was looking at. There's he green screened a tiger. Do you remember that shot?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And the tiger was green.
Yep.
I love it. I do. It's awful, but I love it.
Yeah, we got to.
In 2023, the Hollywood Reel (REEL) Independent Film Festival awarded Cade the Tortured Crossing the win for Best Fantasy Film and People's Choice Award. I didn't know you can award people things sarcastically, but apparently you can.
So this is the first time he's done a direct sequel. This is the sequel to Twisted Pair, which was when he played the 2 twins.
Yeah, because that's not old.
Despite Cade and Kale's surname being spelled ALTIAR in Twisted Pair 2018, for some reason it's changed to ALTIER.
Of course it is.
According to the end credits of this film.
Why? Why would it? Why not? Why not?
I don't know, man. Where's the release information? Okay.
Oh, man.
Limited release February 1st, 2023, and then it's screened in Philadelphia at some point. That's the only information. Let's see here. I'm sorry, guys. This is exciting stuff. But anyone that listens to the show, whenever we go down in the Neil Breen hole, you should just hang on for the ride because it's always interesting.
Well,
I mean, we've got to cover it. If it's out and available with a watch, we got to cover it.
Right.
Let me jump up here. Oops, sorry. Jump on my phone. I'll be a little bit quicker. A little bit quicker to track it down. We'll go to Just Watch, which is the app of choice to find, and I'm wondering if it's going to even be listed.
Yeah, I don't know. Does he even put his?
Oh yeah, it's listed.
Oh,
sorry, Cade. The Tortured Crossing is not available at the moment.
of course.
Why would it be? Okay. Let's see what else we can find here.
I'm trying to find it too. It's not happening.
Well, say what we want about him. He is super protective of his stuff.
Yeah, good for him. I am not sarcastic at all about that. That is what helps me kind of believe that he's really sincere about this and he's not trying to fuck anybody over. He's just
he's not playing we talked about it before. Like we tried to get him for Survival of the Film Freaks, and he was not having.
No, he's in our tour. He's not a cult filmmaker. I get it. I don't agree, but I get it. I don't know.
But what I also don't understand is someone that makes their movies and then doesn't make them available for people to see.
I
got I remember we bought what one it was we bought from the website, and we got a burned DVD-R of it.
Right.
And it was $50.
Right. That's a crazy price, by the way.
He licensed a bunch of his stuff to Amazon.
Okay.
To buy on Amazon. I don't know if that's still the case or not. Let's just do a look up here. Unless he's changed the spelling of his name, which I wouldn't be surprised. Fateful Findings, Twisted Pair. It looks like they're listed, but it doesn't look like you can actually. It says it's available to buy.
Oh, okay.
Let me click on that. Where exactly is it available to buy though? Watch list. Twisted Pair is listed also. Available to buy. Customers also watched. This doesn't even make any sense. There's nowhere to
Yeah.
There's nowhere to
No.
purchase it. It says it's available to purchase, but then you try to click on it and it doesn't go anywhere.
Of course not. Because, maybe he's on vacation this week.
I mean, this week.
Yeah, I don't know.
This year is more like.
Well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
More like it. I'm willing to bet you can get everything through his website, though. Let's do a look there.
Oh, yeah. Where were you looking? Amazon? I forget.
I was on Amazon,
okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's just do a search for his website, because he'll have one of those websites that'll be Cade, the Tortured Crossing movie .edu.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's 65 years old.
He is. He doesn't look bad for 65. I'll give him that.
I don't know about that.
Well, okay. I'm thinking of him when he was in his 50s, because I haven't seen the new one.
We can go to his website, neilbreenfilmsllc.com.
Okay.
And wow. Okay. Yeah. Your website is a nightmare.
You don't like Cloudflare or whatever it is?
It's definitely made on a very old template for Wix or one of those. World-class architect. Oh my God, dude. All right.
What?
Who is Neil Breen? You ready for this?
Yes.
World-class architect, Ferrari owner, formerly a licensed real estate agent, actor par excellence, director without peer, There's no way he wrote this. This is somebody else. This has got to be maybe somebody else.
It has to be. I don't see him being that egotistical.
Yeah. Prolific producer of feature-length films.
Okay.
The most important independent filmmaker of our generation.
Agree to disagree.
Yep. Don't be corrupt. You can order Cade - The Tortured Crossing DVD at cade-crossing.com.
Yeah, because putting dashes in your name is always a good thing, right? That's helpful.
Well, I mean, and that's every single one of his websites. I don't know whether this is his site or not, or if this is somebody else. I mean, the way it looks like it's made, I would say that it's got to be him. You can't even.
That's funny.
Oh, and it's one of those ones where he's got the black text on a dark background, so you can't even read it.
Oh. That's
Cade
weird.
DVD sale update video from his YouTube. All right, let's not follow. I don't really use X anymore, but
I don't. I deleted my accounts.
I still have it, but I couldn't tell you last time I opened it. But let's open it and find out.
Sure.
Neil Breen. Let's see the last time he posted. 5/17/24. Neil Breen says, I've begun work on my script for my next film. Totally different than my previous films. Glad everyone is enjoying my film, Cade - The Tortured Crossing. You can buy it at cade-crossing.com. Check out the film's website. I've been excited. It's been exciting to see the very good reviews and massive support that my film Cade - The Tortured Crossing has been receiving. You can buy it at this website. Thanks again for the indie film community support and positive comments. Per my plan, I have ended the screenings of my film Cade in December. You know what? I will give Neil Breen props here for ending the screenings for the home release, because as I guess I'm a filmmaker, so one thing that drives me insane, and if you're a filmmaker that listens to this show and this is you doing this, I apologize. I don't mean anything personal, but it drives me insane when filmmakers continue to push their old projects into film festivals and screenings, when there's like hundreds of thousands of new projects that are out there.
Oh,
and
I gotcha.
people continue to put their old stuff into film festivals.
Right.
I feel like that stuff, it's like you get a year.
Right, because
Show it in festivals for a year.
The year that it was released, or the year after if you didn't do anything before that.
Here are links to buy 3 of my earlier films. Twisted-pair-film.com. The T in Twisted is capitalized, and the P in pair is capitalized, but film is not.
Okay.
All right. Fatefulfindings.biz.
Sure.
Pass-through-film.com.
Okay.
Now, why do you need to have 3 different websites to sell 3 different movies when you could just put them all on sale in one place in one web store?
Right? Yeah.
That literally does not make sense to me.
It should be neilbreenfilms.com.
Or Neil Breen Films LLC _
underscore
spelled
Cade
DOT
:/ Like, we're not communicating with R2D2 here. We're just trying to put in a fucking website.
Right.
Yeah, but R2 understands English, so even that's easier.
Oh, man, it screened last November at the Alamo Draft House down the Seaport. 11/14/23, Boston / Seaport, comma.
My God.
Boston / space Seaport, comma. Alamo Draft House Theater has added a second screening of Cade - The Tortured Crossing on 11/20 because the 11/17 screening is sold out. Enjoy. Space. Two exclamation points.
Wow. That sounds like he wrote that.
Can I tell you that, like, that Alamo Draft House now has been open for a couple of years. I've never been to it, and I literally forget that it exists.
Yeah, I had no idea at all. I'm like, why are you talking about this? And then you said Seaport, and I'm like, oh, yeah. That is over
the Boston
there.
Seaport area is like a part of the city that, like, you forget exists.
Yeah.
But yet they have built so much stuff there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So there's your Neil Breen stuff. I haven't watched a lot of movies recently, other than stuff for the show, so I don't have nearly as much to add to this episode as I thought I was going to.
I did watch that Beetlejuice movie.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it yet.
It was
thoughts.
It was all right. It was all right. There are definitely some things in it I would do differently, and it's something early in the film, and we know the character from the trailer, so I don't think it's a big thing if I talk about it. You got Monica Bellucci, right? Who's playing his ex-fiance, Beetlejuice's ex-fiance, ex-wife, whatever. When he pulls the finger out of his pocket and he's like, she meant nothing to me. That's her finger, which I thought was a nice touch. They introduce her before you know anything about her, and you're supposed to be like, oh, she's bad news. Like, but there's no reason to believe that. She hasn't, there's no connection to anybody. She just is in multiple containers, like how you would cut a vampire's heart into 4 and then ship them different places to keep it apart. That kind of idea.
Okay.
But I think if there had been a way for Beetlejuice to talk about her or something so that you know that her getting loose is a really bad idea, that might have been better. Okay. It was just a weird character introduction. Because, like, in the original Beetlejuice, they talk about him for a while, and then he shows up. Right? Because you get all the stuff with Juno, the caseworker, and you learn all about how the underworld's going, or the afterlife. And then he shows up full on for real, and you're like, yeah, no, that was a bad idea. I don't know. It kind of felt like an extended cartoon episode.
Okay.
And there was way more blood in this one than there was in the original, which surprised me.
What's it rated? PG-13?
I don't know. Probably with the language, I would say yeah. But It was nice seeing Michael Keaton. It was a Tim Burton movie that didn't piss me off. Just some little things here and there. Like when I was saying that Tim Burton sets sometimes kind of look cheap, like a Bava film or something. It's still kind of there, but I think that's the aesthetic he's going for with the afterlife because all of the human stuff looks fine. So, yeah, my wife loved it. Kids haven't seen it. We went and watched it. So yeah, it's not. I don't think you'd be upset if you watch it, but it's not the first one. It's not going to give you that same weird.
And it's honestly not a property that in 2024 I was looking for a sequel or it wasn't something that I would have had in my bingo card for things I'd like to see more of.
Yeah. Maybe from the early 90s to the late 2000s would have been the best time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, 2024 is just so far removed.
Yeah. Yeah, and also he's kind of a sexual harasser and pervert, and that shit doesn't really fly well with people anymore.
No.
So part of his whole personality has been scrubbed. And then this is the most confusing part. He has a job, and it looks like he's doing one of those jobs like Miss Argentina, who is, doing bureaucratic work. But I don't remember Beetlejuice ever having said he killed himself, because that's the only way you go into the bureaucratic work is suicide.
Beats me.
I don't know. It was fine. It was fun. There was some stuff, some nice callbacks. I liked how they handled Jeffrey Jones, that motherfucking prick.
Oh yeah, Scott had brought that a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
In his episode.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, the character is in the movie way more than I thought.
Interesting.
But the way they handled it, I thought, okay, that is A-list Tim Burton ideas right there. I was okay with that. Yeah. It's all right. It's perfectly all right. It's a fine sequel. It's not Alien 4, so it's a fine sequel.
Okay. What else? What have I watched? So I watched. Did I talk about Jackpot with John Cena and Aquafina?
No.
All right, I watched that.
Okay. I hadn't heard of that, I don't think.
So it's John Cena and Aquafina. She plays a down on her luck actress trying to get back into acting, and she wins this Jackpot thing that they do now. It's kind of a purge type idea set of like in the near future, there's this grand lottery that's been established in California. And the catch is that the person that wins it, if you're able to kill that person before sundown, you have a legal claim to the prize, which was like $1 billion or whatever it was.
Oh, okay. It's more closer to the actual Running Man storyline then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not in like a dystopian future, but you're in the like road to the dystopian future.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so Aquafina basically comes back to home after taking care of her mother who's passed away, and she gets an apartment with or gets a roommate with this other lady, and things just kind of get crazy, and you get the whole like everyone's like basically like killing each other to get to her.
Okay.
And John Cena plays a guy that is in the business of protecting lottery winners.
Oh,
like
so the
like,
opposite of the hunters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah,
okay.
He basically gets like there's a contract. He gets a cut of the winnings or whatever if he can protect her, and like that's a cool that's a cool little twist on the story.
Yeah, I like that. I thought he was going to be the winner, and Aquafina was going to have to try to take him out.
No. So it's written by Paul Feig, who obviously did The Heat, and
I like him. He's got an interesting sense
good.
of humor. Yeah.
I mean, best known for his involvement in he's got his hands on so many different things now.
Oh yeah, what was the fuck?
What the hell's the movie I'm trying to think of?
It's not the Ghostbusters one.
No. He He's in so much stuff. Like he executive produces a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But what's the fucking comedy that was like huge? I mean, he directed Ghostbusters, but Bridesmaids. Jesus,
Oh yeah, there it is.
Idiot.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know he did that, but that makes sense. I don't.
He directed Bridesmaids. He directed The Heat. Directed Spy. Directed Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
He now is also like executive producer on like virtually everything. So
Yeah.
but it's an action comedy that's played for laughs.
He created Freaks and Geeks.
Yes, that was his like original
Yeah.
calling.
Oh, and he worked on a lot of like very important comedy shows.
yeah.
Arrested Development, The Office, Parks and Rec, 30 Rock, Weeds, Nurse Jackie, Mad Men. Not really comedies, but still.
No, but in that world.
Yeah.
But like the thing that drives this movie is it's got a great cast. John Cena and Aquafina are awesome. It's got Simu Liu from Chen. What the fuck was the movie? The Ring guy from
Oh yeah, it took me a second.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Yeah. He's in it.
He's in it. Yeah,
That's
he plays
good.
the head of another protection agency
Okay.
that may or may not be on the up and up.
Okay.
But it's good. It's definitely funny. I like Aquafina a lot.
Yeah.
And her and Simu Liu together, as we saw in the Marvel movie, they're very good together. So
Yeah.
and I've really grown to like John Cena as an actor, like because he doesn't have a problem, making fun of himself.
Oh yeah, no, looks like he loves playing a dope.
Yeah.
I really like that.
They work really good together. This is on Amazon Prime. It's a Amazon Prime release. But it doesn't feel cheap. We were just talking about taking the sheen off of things.
Right.
And with the amount of Tubi movies we've watched recently, like things looking cheap can be a good or a bad thing.
Oh, yeah.
But this feels like a big production when you watch it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth watching.
Okay. And what are we talking? Action or comedy? Which is the more?
60% action, 40% comedy.
Okay. All right. Good. I like to know that going in. Is it just an action movie with some jokes, or is it a comedy with some action?
Yeah, so like Bad Boys is the like 90-10 action to comedy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where this I'd say 60-40. There's quite a lot of humor in it, but like there's some good action sequences in it too.
All right, that's good.
Yeah. So that's
And where is this?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon. Okay. Good.
Yeah, what else? Oh, and I finally got around to watching that Hulu documentary, Brats, directed by Andrew McCarthy, the Brat Pack documentary.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Yeah.
as a fan of those movies and growing up in, in that kind of 80s time period, I was born in 77. So like 87, when I was 10, I would start to see a lot of those movies, but I was obsessed with a lot of those Brat Pack and John Hughes movies through the 90s. Breakfast Club's still one of my favorite movies of all time. We know your longstanding love affair with Some Kind of Wonderful and stuff. So Andrew McCarthy was one of the leads in a number of those movies, along with like Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy, John Cryer, Molly Ringwald, and a whole host of other names that were related to the Brat Pack. So this documentary that's on Hulu, and it's a Hulu release, basically centers on Andrew McCarthy, now in his probably his early to mid 60s, I guess.
Okay.
Coming to terms with the idea of the Brat Pack and the original article that was written in the New Yorker about the Brat Pack and kind of how it affected them. So he's coming to terms with it now later in life. We learned that, he doesn't really have friendships with any of these actors or actresses anymore.
Oh, okay.
And although it's kind of presented as this like Brat Pack documentary, it's really Andrew McCarthy trying to reconnect with people and also like come to terms and see how they've come to terms with their part in this idea of this group of actors and actresses that were put on this pedestal, if you will.
Yeah, and they didn't. That wasn't their idea. That was all the press, wasn't it?
Well, the term Brat Pack was coined by a writer for the New Yorker when he wrote this long article that was essentially an interview with Emilio Estevez. But it stuck and it kind of went along with it.
It's also kind of a shitty nickname too.
Well, I mean, the idea of the Brat Pack as opposed to the Rat Pack, and they talk a little bit about the connections with the names and stuff. But the thing that bugged me is Andrew McCarthy's kind of like demeanor in this, and like it feels like he wrote it. So it's based on a book that he wrote too. He wrote a book, and he is trying to make these reconnections and trying to like justify all of these things.
But why all these years later?
Because I'm guessing because he needs to come to terms with it. And it becomes pretty evident early on by the fact that most of the big guns, Molly Ringwald being probably the most notable member of that crew, Judd Nelson, who else? Judd Nelson, trying to think of the other big names.
Yeah. Ali Sheedy. Emilio Estevez.
No, Ali Sheedy's in it. I'm
just thinking of the people.
Yeah, but there's like Kevin Bacon, is it Matthew Broderick?
They're all tangentially connected.
John Cusack, Matt Dillon, all those big names. None of them are in the film. He reached out to everybody, and a big part of the movie is him reaching out to these people, trying to get interviews with them. And he doesn't get Molly Ringwald, which I think is the biggest miss in the film, because I feel like she's the first person I think of.
Yeah.
When you hear the Brat Pack, Molly Ringwald is the first one I think of.
Yep.
And she's not there, and she chose not to take part of it.
Yeah, she's kind of just pulled away from everything.
Well, yeah, and she still does well. Like she was a pretty prominent role on Riverdale recently. She was in what was the other thing I just recently saw her in? I can't remember. It was like another like it was like another like big show that she had a part in. So she said like her response was thanks for reaching out, but I'm just not really not interested in kind of hashing all of that.
Yeah.
Which is fine. He sits down with Emilio Estevez, which I think is an important part of it. Because the article was written about him, and Emilio Estevez doesn't really do a whole lot anymore. Like he very rarely acts. He'll direct something every now and then, but he's not really like in the spotlight like he used to be.
Okay.
Which I can appreciate because he's done very well for himself. And,
yeah.
I mean, he did reprise his role in that Mighty Ducks series that was out there for a little while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and if you don't have to work, why would you?
Yeah, you do what you want to do, and that's it. You know, like, but the whole story just felt like it never got itself going. Like he was so busy trying to reconnect with people that like he doesn't really tell much of a story.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a bad documentary by any stretch of the imagination, but it's really just, I don't know what his end goal was other than to maybe get himself kind of back into the limelight by rehashing his past. And he's got a really good interview with Rob Lowe, who's another guy that, you know, was able to kind of come out of that.
Oh man, he broke through that whole thing like it was made out of a tissue.
Yeah. Him on not Community, Parks and Recs, he's great.
Oh yeah.
He's great.
Totally changed my opinion of the person. Like I had no idea he was, I don't know, that happy. He played it really well.
He did.
Like, yeah. And now he's got a game show now, The Floor, which I thought was stupid, but the kids wanted to take a look, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. It's an interesting idea, but the problem I have with all our game shows here in America is there's too much fucking talking about nothing in between. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
And there's a really nice moment where he sits down he actually gets Demi Moore, and he sits down with Demi Moore, and her interview is quite good because she talks a lot about how like she was like in and out of rehab at that time and like was a real mess back then. And saying that there's a heavy point put on St. Elmo's Fire because it had so many of them in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And she does a lot of discussing of that stuff and how she's come to terms with it because has an incredible career. Like she's in that new horror movie Substance that's coming out that people are raving about.
I'm kind of curious about that. That looks pretty good.
The trailers are super interesting, man.
Yep.
But the guy David Bloom was the gentleman's name that wrote the original article.
Okay.
And his like take on it was like, yeah, it actually ended up being more of a takedown than it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And he feels like he doesn't feel bad because he wrote the article and he's like that. You know, that article helped make my career too. But like you can tell there's some regret there. Like he's like, I wouldn't change anything, but
yeah, as I was doing some searching here, a headline came up that said, I called them brats, I stand by it. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So.
Do you think McCarthy is trying to maybe rejuvenate his career like James Spader?
Potentially. Spader also wasn't in it, by the way.
He wasn't. Okay, that guy seems weird.
Oh yeah,
in a good way.
Weird.
Not who is it? Is Hurt? What's his first name? He was in Lost in Space and
William Hurt.
Yeah, he's weird in an uncomfortable way, but James Spader is weird in an amusing kind of way. Like he's friendly. I don't see the other guy as like a people person.
Well, yeah, James Spader, like his character in The Office, Robert California, is like I feel like that's just James Spader.
Absolutely,
that's just who he is.
Yeah, and about a half of Ultron's lines. Like, what do you call these little humans? Children.
Did you watch The Blacklist at all?
No,
I never watched it either.
I've seen scenes, and I'm like, wow, the character looks really interesting for how he would go about doing things. But then, like, there's the whole rest of the show around it, and like I'm not a big one on. Is it a police thing?
I've never watched it. I
FBI
like
profiler.
Doesn't he play like a career criminal or something?
It says new FBI profiler. I can't say that word. Elizabeth Keene has her entire life uprooted when a mysterious criminal, Raymond Reddington, who has eluded capture for decades, turns himself in and insists on speaking only to her. So it's another mystery show, but it's cop based. So it's you got all your typical stereotypes and tropes and stuff, I imagine, with it.
Yeah.
And
well, you had brought up Andrew McCarthy, like looking at his most recent, like he was on one episode of The Blacklist. He had a part in something called Grace Point, which I'm not familiar with. He was on 26 episodes of The Resident, which I never watched.
I've heard of that at least.
I've heard of it. Something Isle of Hope. TV show called Good Girls.
His style of, this is going to sound weird, but every actor has a style of person that they bring to the screen. Like Jesse Eisenberg brings the neurotic, I've done everything wrong kind of person to the screen really well.
Yeah.
But maybe McCarthy's thing doesn't, maybe his acting style doesn't work for a grown adult now.
Maybe. I mean, but looking at his filmography here, a lot of like one-offs, you know, like an episode of Law and Order, an episode of The Good Guy, an episode of Gossip Girl.
So it sounds like he's
episodes of something called Lipstick Jungle, which I'm not familiar with.
Maybe he's just doing stuff he wants to now. It's stuff that makes it
one
seem
episode of
interesting.
Monk, an episode of the Twilight Zone reboot, you know, an episode of Law and Order,
Which
an
is
episode
weird.
of-
We usually get that kind of thing with like actors that are in these small horror movies and they're like, oh, I know I've seen them before. And it's like prostitute number 2 or cop number 3 in
Right.
12 different shows.
Yeah, but like, so he has, like, I'm just rolling through here and I'm trying to get down to like something that I know he was the lead in. 1995's Dream Man, maybe?
I never heard of that one.
Night of the Running Man. He was in Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle.
Well, I think he maybe just had an agent that wasn't giving him good scripts.
I mean,
Or
it looks
big
like he's
name
got at
scripts.
least something every year, every couple years.
That's
but
good.
Like Less Than Zero, looking at this, is the last thing that he was a lead in that like really was like, oh yeah, because Mannequin was before that.
Yeah.
Pretty in Pink,
Right.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
that's
And
kinda
then,
where it
now
starts.
we're talking 40 years
84,
ago.
83. Yeah. Either way, so the documentary I think is worth watching if you have an interest in those films.
Okay.
But it's really more a personal story of him trying to like not get back what he lost, because it's not that, but definitely like reconnect with his younger self
Okay.
through using these interviews with the people that were around him at that time.
All right.
to-
I
if that
can
makes-
see that. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's weird to document it like that. Not many people do that, but he has the ability to do it, so why not? I mean, some really good stuff comes out of why is this person doing that? So who
Not wrong.
knows? Maybe
Not
maybe
wrong.
he'll get bit by the documentary bug and he'll start doing some really top-notch stuff.
Hopefully.
I don't hate the guy. I hate the characters he played in some of the movies because you're supposed to, but you know, I wish him all the luck. He's not a name that pops into my head anymore. Because usually it's like, oh, there's that asshole from fucking Pretty in Pink.
So yeah, Bratz is fine.
Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about before we play Scott's segment?
Oh, I do have some stuff that I am going to watch before the end of the year.
Okay. Stuff you're like looking forward to?
Yeah, that I just haven't had time to sit down and pay attention to. Obviously, we're me and the kids are going to go see Terrifier 3 when it's in theaters. We almost went to Not Rockin' Chuck this weekend.
Silver Scream?
Yeah, because you could get a photo with the director, art, the two main characters, the sister and brother, and the pale girl. And there were different levels of with makeup, without makeup on the set that they bring with them. And then I think it was Nova she's loving the gore effects and how you do practical effects and stuff. And she's stage manager for this new play that they're doing. So she's interested in all kinds of performance
cool.
stuff. And I was willing to pay the money for her to meet all of them at the same time for the private photos. But then she never really said if she wanted to go. I think it's one of those like, oh, this is the one thing I want to do, and now that it's here, I don't know if I can.
Yep, I know that feeling for sure.
And then I read that there was like, it was a few hours wait, even if you had bought the stuff, because there were thousands of people.
I find it so, and I apologize for interrupting you.
No, go ahead.
I find it so interesting, and listeners that have been with us for a while will understand this because we were so heavily involved with Rock and Shock, how Rock and Shock wasn't able to keep their shit together enough to keep going.
Yeah.
Whereas the dudes from Ice Nine Kills were just like, yeah, we're gonna do a festival and we're gonna do a convention attached to it. And in the short 3 years that they've done it, they did it in like the small one was up at Danvers the first time they did it.
Yep.
And then they did it there last year, and then they realized they needed to bring it to the same exact place that Rock and Shock used to be.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
had like 10,000 people or something crazy show up.
Yeah.
But yet Rock and Shock had to fold because they couldn't. I think there's I don't know the full story, but I think there was a lot of behind the scenes turmoil with the people involved in setting it up.
Yeah. I mean, what else could it be aside from the other rumor going around that one person didn't work with one of the talent agencies for some petty reason? So half the people they couldn't get because of somebody else's bad idea about somebody. It was stupid.
Yeah.
And they were running Rock and Shock initially the same fucking weekend as what was it, New York Comic Con?
Yeah, I mean that only happened the first
6 years.
No, it was 2 years. It was 2 years. The thing was, Rock and Shock originally was done the same weekend every year anyway, and then they started doing New York Comic Con.
Oh, okay.
And so New York Comic Con scheduled the same weekend, but now, yes, the Rock and Shock people, it took them 2 years to realize that they were losing all of their high profile guests.
Yeah. You'd think after the first year you'd realize that.
Well, I think the first year it happened, they were because they had people cancel on them to do New York.
Yeah.
And then I think they didn't know they had already booked the following year's dates. Because you have to book that stuff but more than a year in advance.
Yeah, that makes
sense. So they
sense.
couldn't probably shift because they would always have the fucking circus in there.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Shifting after the circus to like a week after the circus is good, not the weekend after, because I don't want to smell
out of there.
Oh my god, elephants and donkeys and all, it would just poop everywhere. Not actual poop, but the smell,
the remnants of it.
Yeah, it was a little rough that one time.
I haven't been to Silver Scream. I know our PR marketing person for Don't Forget to Leave had reached out to Ice Nine Kills about having Kyle and I there for Film Freaks, and I don't know if it ever got anywhere. Oh. But like I also now won't go to a convention just to go to a convention. I need to have a reason to be there, whether it's get a table to sell stuff or I can't. I'm bored after 20 minutes if I'm just walking around.
Right, and that's the only reason we would have gone would be so I could get Linnea Quigley's autograph finally, and then wait in line for those photos. That's it. We were going just for that reason. And since I had been there and I know there's a parking garage and I pretty much know the floor kind of well, I didn't have any issue with, doing that.
Everything I saw, it looked like a clone of Rock and Shock. It was just it's got a different name now.
All conventions kind of look the same.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I imagine that's stuff that the venue has. Right.
Or whatever company they rent from or whatever.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there's rumors there's going to be a Terrifier 4, which I'm fine with. Keep making them. Go ahead. I'll watch them or not. I don't care. But that means
I'll watch it and then tell you how much I didn't like it afterwards.
I know. But that just means that there's a better chance of them going to more conventions where maybe it'll cost a little bit less in driving time and price to meet them.
Maybe.
So I'll just keep an eye out.
I would expect that, though. I would expect if anything, the prices are going to go up.
Well, for all 5 of them together, it was like $400.
It's a lot of money.
It is, but they were in costume. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little different.
That, but part of me almost doesn't want to have the picture with them in the costume because it's I'd rather meet the person, not the character.
Yeah,
because anybody could dress up in the costume, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's true. But. It wasn't my choice.
I hear you.
I was letting them choose, and But then, like, they had just gone back to school. Stage 1 had just started up. They went through their auditions. They got whatever parts they were hoping for. And, yeah, it was just a big week, a busy week for them. And they were exhausted.
I know all about that, man.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we get to holy shit?
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's just play it and see what we've got.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott. And if my memory serves me correctly, which it often doesn't, you'll be playing this during the next round of surgery shows during Spooky October. So you know what that means. Holy Shit Halloween Edition Marathon.
Oh, shit.
Starting with this gem from over 7.5 years ago, and the week after I did the first, and I believe only, live recording with you both in the studio. We did some movie-themed trivia and some snack tests from all around the world, and who knows what the fuck else. I just know that it was epic, and it's time to relive that magic once again.
This is
Oh, fuck off, both
Bates
of you.
I know what it is. I'm giving him a second.
Why are you giving him a second?
Trying to be fair.
How's it fair if you know the answer before him?
I don't know.
I can't think of the damn
You
name
got the
of the
name
movie,
of the TV show that's related to it.
though. Yeah, I forget the damn name of the movie
Did you
because
just say it?
Psycho?
Psycho. God damn it! Why couldn't I think of the damn name? All I could think of is everything about it, including the Busta Rhymes song that has this loop in it.
Y'all niggas had enough? Give me some more. Y'all niggas want the wild shit? Give me some more. Yo, Spliff, where the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more.
God damn it!
Holy shit with Reverend Scott.
I'm gonna give it a D+.
A D+.
These nuts.
Ow.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott, and this is the Halloween edition of Holy Shit. And what does that mean, you might say? It means people like Michael Neal should be really scared, because I'm going to play clips from him from last week.
Michael Neal's all about that dick rip.
Dude, I gotta have the dick rip. What can I tell you?
Nice.
But I also want to revisit a few highlights from my live in-studio show with both of you for the first time ever. It was the perfect way to start my visit to Wakefield, where you live, Bill. Before that, I was almost like a stranger to Chris. But after doing the show together, it's totally different. What's it like now, Chris?
And now it's like, I'm gonna cut you, bitch.
I would have said something else, but okay. So what's the first thing we did on the show? I guess it was my top 6 Phil Collins songs. And I found out that after all these years of loving Phil Collins, I can still learn something new.
All right. Scott,
right.
what is your number one Phil Collins song?
Do I get a drum roll?
I don't have one queued up.
Oh, you son of a bitch. My number one, it's pretty obvious, is Easy Lover. With my boy, Philip. Wait, is it Phil and Philip?
Yeah, it is.
Whoa. That's weird.
Earth-shattering revelations. So after that, we did some horror movie theme song trivia by the request of Jigsaw, who's actually dead in that series, but somehow did a segment intro for OTC anyway. And I positioned myself to sweep Chris with a soul-crushing victory right at the start.
All right, so we'll start
Let's
off. I'll
see.
play one, and whoever gets it first Okay, I'll just play it. We're gonna see. We'll play until it's not funny anymore. Here is the first one.
The Thing.
Oh, you had to get that one.
Oh,
You know how I know that?
wow.
The theme it's one note.
Yeah. But Jerry Goldsmith did the theme, so there you go. Down 1-0. How does it make you feel?
Is this from Fright Night?
All right.
Did I get it?
Yes, very, very good, Scott.
All right.
And sure, I may have forgot the title of Psycho like you heard in the segment intro, but I also didn't know other ones either, like this theme.
Predator.
No,
Predator 2. Predator 2.
no.
There we go.
Okay, this is the theme to Alien.
Oh. That was close.
I haven't seen Alien
I
for
was
a long
close.
time. So that's your fault. I would have got...
I was going to give you a toss-up, but now probably not.
I don't think of Alien as ever having any music in it.
All right.
There's that part where it's like, hello, my baby. Hello, my baby.
Yeah, but that's way at the end.
And even though I completely crushed Chris with a landslide victory, don't bother fact checking that, I still was a good sport and tried some snacks in the studio, like that jelly shit.
I don't know how you even eat this.
Put it in your mouth and suck it.
Suck it
I
dry.
had a nickel for every time. All right. I think I'm eating it, not the plastic. This fucking music is killing me.
You do. I think the music fits because you're having an epic struggle with the packaging.
I should have started with the sword. I'm glad you got that reference.
Marco, it's a stage 5 rapper. Help! Category 2 gel.
Oh, it's good, isn't it? Look at his face.
It's not the most terrible thing I've eaten.
The consistency is weird, though.
Why would they package it like this? It's like
Yeah.
it's like Laffy Taffy you left in the back of your car for a while. Let me eat a little close.
Christ.
I don't like that. I don't hate it. God damn it.
It seems to hate you.
Why is it so hard to eat? Is that... I'm not going to say
I think it's because you don't have the Japanese work ethic to get to the food.
lazy Americans can't eat this.
But of course, Bill decided that jelly shit was too good for me, so he moved me on to something a bit more diabolical.
I didn't throw it away.
Oh, yeah. It's very fragile.
Big roll grilled seaweed roll.
That is the most amazing thing ever.
So they made a little picture of a kid on this, and even this kid doesn't like it.
You can be done with the sauce packet. Oh man,
I might finish that. It's not bad. Oh, I'm excited about this one.
I would say that seaweed roll, Chris, would you agree with me? That's the worst thing we probably had.
It was the most difficult to get out of your mouth when you were done.
gross. How's it smell?
Oh my god. Have you ever spilled soy sauce on yourself before?
Yes.
Yep, that's what it smells like.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Have you ever spilled soy sauce and then burned it? And then created candy out? Is this what that is? Maybe this is just that kid's punishment on the box.
He goes back for another bite of it.
No.
Yeah. Holy crap.
How was that? That's bad, right? That's
Oh
bad.
my god. It says tasty and easy.
The answer is not tasty and not easy.
Oh.
He's really suffering through that.
Everything I've done today. Why did I come here? But it wasn't bad enough that you made me eat that shit the week I was there. You did it again with Michael Neal the following week. And I think you made him grab the snacks from between your legs or something.
That's unbelievable.
Hope it's good.
Well, it's all kind of sticking together. Oh my god, these look like packing peanuts.
You even made Travis try some terrible treats.
That was crunchy, huh?
Yeah, it's hard.
How's it taste?
Not good.
Then, after Travis left the room, I think you saved some special sauce for Michael Neal to try.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Oh. Creamy and strange.
It's almost too creamy for its own good.
It doesn't taste like anything, though.
No, it tastes like soap smells.
I can't believe he hasn't been on the show for like 5 or 6 years, and that's how you treat him? Half the time you had no idea what was even happening.
Is that a pineapple drinking beer with a sponge?
But if something like that is a lot of fun to listen to, is it really that bad?
It's bad in a different way, but you're right.
Well, guys, I better wrap it up. It's already been a scary long segment this week. But then again, who cares? Right, Dynamo Mars?
Man, that Reverend Scott, you're just the best, dude. You're the best. There's a reason that show is called The Reverend Scott's Outside the Cinema Extravaganza. And it's you, my friend.
So I'll see you all in the chat room at the Halloween Throwdown this weekend. But until then, peace and love, guys.
Driveinhorrorshow.com. The only time I ever say it right is
Horror show.
Drive-in horror show. Fucking.
All right. Well, that does it for this week, guys. All right, we're going to call it a day there. We'll be back next week, though, to talk about things and stuff.
Yep. And stuff. Gotta
Hopefully
have the
everyone
stuff.
is feeling better. When that
Hopefully.
happens.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/outsidethecinema, at OTCBill, at Cthulhu on Instagram. Follow Neil Breen at neilbreen.llc _ backstab. No.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Hey, have a good week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah.